Hello everyone, Darren here, and this is going to be the January QA video. I am well aware that this is very late. My apologies, I did not mean it to come out this late, but I had an exam this week that I was focusing on, and internship, real life stuff. So this should have come out January 31st, and I can kind of slip my mind, but nonetheless, here it is. Background footage is going to be some random clips that I've had sitting in my DVR for a while, so just a good way to just show them off or to use them for some reason and then get rid of them. But anyway, we are going to get into the first question by a Jason Goodright, and he gave me a nice, good, lengthy paragraph, but essentially what he was asking was my thoughts on the Object 279E and about, is this like the last straw, really? Is this a problem? And like, well, after the tank being out for a while, I'd have to say it is both yes, a problem, and no, not a problem. It's one of these weird tanks that I find is balanced but imbalanced. The thing, though, about it is that when you are prepared for the Object 279E, like you are fighting the tank, you know the tank's coming your way, and you are in terrain favorable to you, you have distance on you, like you are prepared for it, essentially. You are ready to fight the 279E. It's not really a problem. It's not. The problem comes from when you're not ready for it, i.e., you're already facing like 2-3 tanks in a fight, and all of a sudden the 279E comes around and starts starts ramming you. He starts going in, he has his front towards you, and he's, nothing you can really do when you are not prepared for it. You are panicking. He has the jump on you. That basically means he has given you, he has won that fight. You were not ready for it. You were not prepared. And that's where a lot of people kind of seem like it's OP, because anyone could literally just plant their front end right in front of you, and you can't really do anything unless you're shooting heat or you have a very high caliber gun. But you get around to the side, you get elevation on it, where you can shoot down onto the tank, the front hull, the top of the turret, the back of the tank. You have elevation on it, or you get the sides or the rear of the tank, and all of a sudden it's not a problem at all. I've seen so many ammo racks of the 279E, and I have been ammo racked myself, that it's both balanced and imbalanced. And to summarize this, it is balanced when you are prepared and ready for it, but imbalanced when you are being rushed by it. You are ill prepared to face the tank, and that is where that whole mindset of it being OP comes from, in my opinion. Moving on to a Paul Broda, his question is, do I have in my collection any vehicles rarely seen on the battlefield? And he referenced a couple examples like the 59 Patton and the Verzila, the Turan PT, the Toldi 3, and some others. And yes, I do actually have a couple of rare vehicles. The sense of it being, I don't know why my phone went off, but I do have a couple rare tanks. I have the Fighting Girlfriend. I have the Edelweiss. I had the Legion 59 Patton, but I think I traded that in for something. But other than that, yeah, no, I don't have a whole lot of rare vehicles. I don't tend to play them that much. I got the Edelweiss because it was, I used to play that game, the Valkyria Chronicles. I used to play it. But beyond that, it was mostly just a memory thing for me. I do wish I got the Girls in Panzer Tank. I did kind of get hooked into watching that show a while back, and some other stuff, but beyond that, it's other stuff. What was it they had? Like, their other stuff was like, what, some movies? I don't know. I don't know. So I kind of liked that show. It was a little bit fun. watching them put in some historical stuff in it. So I wish I had that. Fighting Girlfriend, I got it for historical reasons because, you know, it's an actual historical tanker. So, yeah, I got that. But beyond that, I don't really get many low tiers. I got another question. It was, do I can sometimes play with vehicles that are generally considered lousy? Now, I don't know what you mean by lousy. He didn't really clarify this, but I'm going to go with the sense that you mean pretty much I just sit around a corner, I roll out, I blap a sucker for like almost all of its health, and then I just go back around the corner and eat my chips while I wait for my reload to finish. Or play artillery, something along those lines. No, I rarely play those vehicles. Normally, if we're going to go by that sense, it would be the FV4005 and some artillery vehicles that I have. But I almost never play my artillery pieces. And at the same time, the 4005, I tend to only really play that just to kind of close streams, but beyond that, I don't really like to play tanks that, you know, just require me to sit around and wait for an opportunity. I like to go after the opportunity. Now, what is the easiest tier 10 light tank to grind? This one was by Dan the Yahoo. Now, I'm by no means an experienced light tank player. I would definitely say go talk to Turkey Tank about this, but from my personal experience, I found the AMX 13105 to be the easiest. Why, you might ask? Because you have to pretty much play the French light tank line like to get 3 tier 10s. You had to get the Bat Chat, the AMX 30B, and the AMX 13105. So if you already had the 2 French medium tanks, you've already played the 1390. You know how to play the French light tanks. So to me, that was the easiest line to grind because, you know, if you went for the other medium tanks first, if you are that into the game already, and you just decided, yeah, you know, you've already got the 2 French medium tanks, and you're like, I don't have any tier 10 light, so I might as well start. What should I start with? I definitely would say go with the 1390. You've played, you know, almost, I believe, like almost over 400,000 XP in that worth of games in the 1390. So you should have an understanding of how to play it. So in that case, you just just move on to the grind the AMX 13105. It's literally like a 1390, and it's literally like a Bat Chat. It's just faster, and it's got less clip potential than the Bat Chat, but still, it's also a higher powered 1390 because it's a 13105. But yeah, that's what I would say would be the easiest to grind, just because of the fact that you had to play the 1390 or the French light line to get to the other medium tanks. Another question by Dan the Yahoo would be, what could be the reason we don't have 60 FPS on current gen consoles yet? Well, I know, if I remember correctly, there are already tons of games that have 60 FPS on current gen. If we're talking about like the Xbox One X or the S, yeah, we already have, I think, a couple games. But for World of Tanks, probably we don't have 60 FPS. If we don't, probably would be because of 360, because we can't really have that type of advantage or something. I'm not a tech guy, so I couldn't really give an accurate question. This is only speculation on my end. It's probably because of 360 and technical limitations. Don't quote me on it, just my guess. All right, so Michael Farmakis, I apologize if I butchered your last name there, but he asks what I think about what he doesn't like in the game. Physics, 5-man platoons, RD, lights limitation, bunch of other things. So I'm just going to quickly go down the list. Physics and everything. Physics, I think, could be toned down a little bit or adjusted. Tanks slipping on rocks. I don't remember rocks being made of ice. It's flipping over. It is possible you could flip things over, but, you know, again, I think it probably could be toned down a little bit and adjusted in others. 5-man platoons, I've seen the argument. I could agree. I'm a little bit on the fence. Realistically, 5-man platoons are historically accurate, at least for the American doctrine. Um, 3-man platoons, but for balance, I would say maybe we could try four people, like as he suggested, or to go back to 3. Either one is perfectly okay. I'd be willing to try. Artie and lights, I'm gonna stay away from the political thing regarding Artie. The lights, I've never heard of a lights being a problem, because I know the tier 10 lights, actually some of them behave a lot like medium tanks, so I don't quite understand that. Percentage composition, that is a statistical thing. I could not really give anything on that. Low tier premium should have a driver skill limitation to avoid abusive play. No, because I believe low tiers can be used for crew training. 6 5s and 6s can be used for, I think low tiers are free XP. Middle tier premiums are for crew training, and then the upper tiers are for silver. I think that was the way it used to be, so a bunch of the low tiers probably have a bunch of free XP stuff. But beyond that, no, there should be no limitations on crew stuff. It should be, I don't know how to balance bottom tier. I really don't. I'm not a maker of the game, so I couldn't really help that. The Merc contracts, reduce the time by adding more challenges instead, or reduce time or add more challenges. I don't really know. I see Mercs out there a lot, but not in the frequency that I think it needs to be a problem. I know I started a couple contracts halfway through, and I feel like I might get it. So I don't think the length or the grind or anything is much of a problem, so long as you start it the day the contract comes out and you stick with it. Beyond that, though, I don't think there needs to really be a limitation. All right, so the James Hooper asks, what is an original idea design feature that I think should be part of what console? Original idea, the original tech trees. That's what I think should be part of what console. We need to incorporate more ideas from our other games. I think I pointed this out in a little conversation I had with some other people, is that every other wargaming title is developing their own content that does not rely on their big brother. For example, World of Tanks Blitz, they're adding ATGMs. Now, a lot of people don't like ATGMs. I'm working on my own little suggestion on how to incorporate ATGMs into our game, and maybe as a form of a balance thing as well. They're also, this year, they're going to be getting the Japanese tank destroyer line. Now, granted, does it look a lot like the Jaegeru line? Yes, it does, but it's Japanese TDs. PC doesn't have Japanese TDs. We don't have Japanese TDs, but they do. Now, what else? Well, World of Warships Blitz has a ship that PC doesn't even have. It's like a mix of an aircraft carrier and a battleship. I think it's like the ISO or the Issei or something like that. I mean, the model looks cool, but PC doesn't have it, but what Blitz does. So I mean, all these other games have content that their big brother doesn't have, but console apparently seems to be that exception to where it's like, no. And I don't count Merc tanks as being unique. You literally just combined a bunch of parts that are already existing and made not even a tech tree out of that. I don't count mercenary tanks. Next question was favorite type of candy. I don't have a favorite type of candy. I just have a really, really big sweet tooth. It's whatever I look at in the candy aisle and be like, I feel like having that. What inspires me to help create content for the What Console community? Trying to make the community better, to be honest. I think we can all agree that we all don't like going into a game to where it's like you feel like your own team can't do a single thing right. And so, yeah, that was my thing of like, I want to help try and improve the community. And then also coupled with the fact that Wargaming doesn't really release a whole lot of helpful videos. So that is what inspired me to create content. Next question by Alex the Hun. What is my favorite type of tank to play? Well, for those that have stuck around on this channel long enough should know that my favorite type of tank to play is the Centurion tank of any kind. Except the Bellerophon. I don't count that because that does not look like a Centurion. It Looks like a Spartan. And, yeah, we're not going there. I want my regular 5-1. All right, so I got one from another question by Samal de Monarch. I apologize again if I mess that up, but he asks what my favorite light tank is. I'm going to go with the tier 10. Well, oh boy. Favorite tier 10 would be the WZ1321 because it plays like a medium. Well, it's more of a medium, and it actually can bounce shots with its spaced armor and stuff on the turret. Lower tiers, I'd have to say the Falcon T92. It looks really nice. Now, next one by Redneck Kid 11. Do I play Sherman tanks? If so, which kinds? Favorite tier 6? Well, I have like a couple Shermans. I don't remember all the names. I'd have to say my favorite tier 6 would have to be the the latest Firefly that came out. I will post a picture here when right about now, really. I have posted a photo. The audio is being recorded separately, by the way. If I were to go with an overall Sherman I would probably like to play, it probably would be the HMH M51, the Super Sherman, mostly because of the fact that it represents Israel. I'm staying away from the political parts of about that whole issue, but I do say I would like to see an Israeli tech tree, and even though we don't have an Israeli tech tree, the fact that we have some tanks that kind of are like themed regarding Israel's tanks, I like that. So I'm gonna have to say the favorite overall Sherman would be the HMH M51, and the favorite tier 6 would be the newest Firefly that came out. Now, for the last question by Gun Nerd, is there any 2020 plans for what console that I have heard? Well, unfortunately, we are not PC, as you mentioned. They have been announcing plans, and we have not. But as of the time of me recording this, everyone should have heard that for the 6th anniversary at February 12th, or I think maybe even this week or next week, they're going to be announcing things. A lot apparently is being planned. I know a couple things, but I'm not at liberty to say what they are. I think certain players may be happy coming up here in the next week or so regarding some stuff. And I know that some stuff that may be seen will actually make a lot of people upset. But I'm kind of a little bit excited by what I saw or what I know about for next week. But yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry that this thing has been going on for almost 20 minutes. Of course, a lot of questions to go through here. There wasn't a whole lot, but I felt like including all of them because there's only a few entries in there. So I answered everyone's questions. Hopefully I got yours. I gave you the answer that you were looking for. But that's going to be it for this video. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for the post for February's Q&A, and may RNG be in your favor this week and next weekend. And for those of you that, like me, have already been receiving their Year 6 badges, happy 6th anniversary on Xbox One. I think technically it's 7 years because Xbox 360 had a year before us. So I think that'd be a total of 7-year anniversary. Yeah! But that's going to be it. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, this has been Darren of WotC Academy.